The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Chairperson of the newly formed Port Moresby General Hospital Health Awareness Committee, Dr. Benjamin Dow, said, since World Hypertension Day on 17th May, PMGH is now moving to preventative health as well as mostly curative health. CEO Dr. Paki Molumi and his team requested for this committee because people are hungry to learn about what services are available.
People are hungry to learn about what services we have, and it's only fair that we service providers who have the knowledge and the experience of disseminating this information, make this information readily available to them.
Dr. Dow said he and his team have plans to host awareness campaigns during international days like Hypertension Day and Cancer Awareness Day to be more proactive.
Hypertension is mostly asymptomatic, meaning that a lot of people that have hypertension do not know they have hypertension. Why? Because the symptoms do not show until your blood pressure gets very high.
He said many people do not know they have hypertension until they have a stroke or get sick and come to the emergency and find that they have been walking around with high blood pressure.
If you are diagnosed with hypertension, seek medical help, whether that be PNG or your urban clinics. Always go get help, and if they need to refer you to a specialist, they will refer you to us.
Staff of Port Moresby General Hospital have been warned of possible hypertension due to their high level of stress relating to their work. They were encouraged to get checked. This was the main message delivered during the World Hypertension Day in-house celebration at the PMGH recently.
On World Hypertension Day, Port Moresby General Hospital staff were encouraged to take charge of their health and well-being by checking their vitals, including blood pressure and BMI. Event Master of Ceremony and Coordinator of the Ambulatory Clinic, Dr. Andrew Ame, said this.
If you have been diagnosed with high blood pressure, one of the issues that we have is compliance to treatment. People are not taking their medicines. And that goes to all of our staffs, many of our staff. The impacts are devastating, very significant. We've lost a lot of our senior staff, medical staff, doctors, nurses, support staff through these problems.
While he appealed to hospital staff with high blood pressure to get regular checkups and comply with medication. Meanwhile, keynote speaker and director of Seburi Kidu Heart Foundation, Professor Isike Vau, said before independence, hypertension did not exist in PNG. People lived healthy lives in the city and also in the village because the food they ate was organic.
In the internal medicine statistics, when we look at the statistics, there are two trees. One tree is called TB, HIV/AIDS, representing the infectious diseases. The other tree is called lifestyle disease. And in the lifestyle disease, the number one condition is called stroke. And guess what? The number one cause of that stroke is called hypertension, followed by coronary artery disease, heart attack, followed by diabetes and kidney problems and kidney failures and so on.
Dr. Kevau queried the advice from the International Hypertension Society for everyone to monitor their own blood pressure because it is unrealistic for most Papua New Guineans as they cannot afford it. A blood pressure machine costs around 220 to 250 kina at a local pharmacy. Frida Kana, TVWAN News.
Professor Isikeva went on to say that the most dangerous condition to have is stroke. Hypertension is the #1 cause of stroke.
There's about 20 patients in our medical ward with stroke. We did a quick round this morning. There's about 20 patients with stroke. And high blood pressure is the commonest cause of stroke. What does stroke mean? Stroke means that one side of the brain is dead. And if that brain is affected by hypertension, which is the commonest cause, then the opposite part of the body is not going to be functional. So if you have a stroke in the left brain, you can't walk. Your right side is paralyzed. About that, left brain is where your speech area is. So for you to talk, for me to talk, for all of us to be talking this morning, we are dependent on the speech area on the left side of the brain. But if you have a stroke due to high blood pressure, hypertension, and it affects that, you can't talk.
World Vision, in partnership with the Australian Government's Department of Foreign Affairs, are on the road to make the general public know about breaking barriers on the rights of persons with disability. World Vision is encouraging other stakeholders to work with them. World Vision is on the road to break barriers on the rights of persons with disability with assistance funding from the Australian Government Department of Foreign Affairs. During last week's master's training on the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, World Vision PNG Chief of Party and Education Portfolio Lead Imelda Ochavillo emphasized that it is World Vision's strategy to break barriers on rights for disability persons as well as other tools to disseminate results.
Yeah, aside from rolling out the training on UNCRPD, we are actually also, because we just finished conducting a barrier assessment, and there's that results now of that assessment. And we also intend to disseminate this information because the assessment has very specific recommendations. And so the project, World Vision's project, The Ride, funded by DFAT, the USAID, will be developing tools to disseminate the results of the barrier, and also to make, because one of the things we found out from this workshop is that there's really a need to operationalize, to activate the provincial council for, you know, people with disabilities, and that's not been happening. I think it's just working in Morobe and Eastern Highlands, so there's still many other provinces that we would like to help.
She encouraged Papua New Guineans to work together to break barriers and make rights real for everybody. Ochavillo trained 16 representatives from different organizations of disability around the country. She is working towards spreading the rights of disabilities through the training of trainers.
I'm really hoping, not just for World Vision, for us to have another project, but there's really a great need, yeah? So I think we are just touching a little of the, you know, we're just addressing a little of, you know, the concerns, and I hope there will be other players. If there's one that I would like to say and encourage everyone would be like, together, let's break the barriers and really make rights real for everybody.
Ochavillo stated that she would meet with the World Bank Group due to their interest in the space of inclusion in the private sector and business establishments. World Vision is encouraging other stakeholders to work with them to break the barriers of the rights of persons with disability. Minister for Mining Sir Ano Pala has signed an agreement to transfer exploration license 454 tenements from Barrick New Guinea Limited to the new Porgera Limited. Sir Ano also signed off to uplift the reservation over Porgera area and transfer Special Mining Lease 11 from Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited to the new Porgera Limited.
The transfer of tenements EL454 by Barrick New Guinea Limited to New Porgera Limited and the transfer of Special Mining Lease 11 from Kumul Mineral Holdings Limited to New Porgera Limited have indicated the final progressive steps towards the reopening of the mine. Mineral Resources Authority Managing Director Jerry Gary clarified that the transfer of tenements and revocation of the SML-11 signals the recommencement of the mine.
Project commencement agreement and its amended agreements is to transfer the tenements of Pogora to the new Pogora Limited.
Minister for Mining, Se Anopala, also clarified that unless these agreements were not followed, the operation of the mine will not be possible. He said this is an important milestone achieved towards the overall efforts in reopening the Pogora gold-silver mine after the state refused the extension of its special mining lease in April 2020.
After this process, I think the agreement will be finalized and we will now expect the mining operations to start.
Director for New Pogora Limited, Dr. Ilatemu, said with the tenements being transferred, the New Pogora Limited can now apply for a new SML for operations to commence.
With these tenements being transferred, New Pogora can now progress the other things that it needs to do, because the transfer of these tenements, EL454 and the old SML11, allows the New Pogora company to then surrender the SML11 under the agreements that were signed. With the surrender, then Barrick or the new operator, a New Pogora Limited, can then apply for a new SML, which then allows the new operation to be licensed for operation.
Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
You're watching TVWAN News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
It was during and after COVID that really motivated me to want to take up life insurance. I think savings is very important, and I think One Talk Delight provides a disciplined approach to savings, and it's a good investment to want to think about the future, because it's always nice to have plans for what you want to do later on.
With you for life.
Whether we're playing sport, exercising for fitness, being active for work or play, just having some fun, or just chilling, there is one name we can count on that we know will keep us going strong. Skell Rice. Healthy, nutritious, delicious medium grain rice full of vitamins and minerals. Skell helps us maintain a healthy, active lifestyle so we can enjoy every day.
Skell Rice. Skell Rice.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend. PNG's own coffee.
Our journey starts with you. We'll be there from the start, right through to your life's adventures. We'll ensure comfort and make your safety our priority. We'll take you to memorable moments, no matter where it begins. And we'll get you there like we've always done. The 4th generation coaster bus, more than just a bus.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook, and with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, My whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different packed sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier, but you like it more.
Among all the billion people in the world, you will meet people you are destined to meet.
Look! Many parts of the town of Nuestra Vida are severely flooded.
Nurse, can you help my wife, please?
I can't take it anymore!
The good news is, the baby's heart rate is normal, so we can still wait for a C-section.
One of the twins has a weak heart rate. We didn't succeed. Diana! Nurse! Is that my Maggie's baby?
They will lose their daughter, too. They will feel the pain I'm feeling.
New beginnings. Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
It begins in backyards.
By Queensland, it's a try for Mitchell. Valentine home's over.
Welcome back. Students at the University of Papua New Guinea resumed with end-of-semester examinations today, after it was disrupted by Monday's sit-in protest. Some students who had come to school to prepare for the exams were distracted. After successfully petitioning the government on Defense Cooperation Agreement, students of the University of Papua New Guinea were dismissed to study for end-of-semester exams. Vice-Chancellor Professor Frank Griffin was present when the protest went down. While he supported the students for raising this important matter, it came at an unfavorable time because students were preparing to sit for exams. He was concerned that the protest could potentially affect exam schedules. However, this morning, the exam schedule put in place by the university was underway. It will ensure that exams are computed and marks submitted on time. Upon receiving the petition from students on Monday, Minister for Finance and Planning Rainbow Paita acknowledged the students for showing concern for their country, but encouraged them also to put their studies before anything else. Despite efforts to stop the signing of the Defense Cooperation Agreement, the pact was signed and sealed on Monday evening between the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and PNG Minister for Defense Win Daki. Semester 1 examinations are expected to be completed in the next 2 weeks before students take leave for holidays. The United States of America and Papua New Guinea have signed the Defense Cooperation Agreement amidst growing concerns that this agreement encroaches into the country's sovereignty. On Monday evening, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and PNG's Minister for Defense Win Daki put pen to paper, giving way to the U.S. to increase military presence in the country and the Pacific as China and the U.S. compete for influence in the region.
The Defense Cooperation Agreement was signed Monday evening after several months of negotiations to strengthen security cooperation between the United States and Papua New Guinea. In place of President Joe Biden, United States Secretary of State Anthony Blinken came to Papua New Guinea to sign the pact as PNG and India co-hosted the third Forum for Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation. The signing was done amidst rising concerns that the agreement encroaches into the country's sovereignty, which Prime Minister James Marape stated post-signing that this was not the case.
This is a straight two-way highway between Pentagon and Mari Barracks, between Washington and Waigani, between USA and Papua New Guinea, and we have not compromised our own relationship with every other bilateral relationship we have at government-to-government level.
Prime Minister Marape assured Papua New Guineans that all aspects of the Defense Cooperation Agreement will be made available to the public through a parliamentary statement that he will make. As the third FIPIC Forum was underway, students from various tertiary institutions around the country halted classes to protest the signing.
Our request now is very simple. Reach out through the context and let the Prime Minister know that he must not be signing this pact today.
I had my views on few national issues
issues that we felt were of importance to the existence of this country. So I don't take it lightly that I am here to receive your petition.
A draft of the Defense Cooperation Agreement leaked to media last week sparked concerns of the extent of U.S. military involvement, including giving U.S. personnel legal immunity on land and sea, among other requirements. However, Prime Minister Marape maintains that this agreement will add value to and strengthen the economy going into the future.
As we now elevate in as far as our defense corporations are concerned, we today are now elevating from what used to be a generic relationship under 1989 Status of Force Agreement. We now elevating into a specific relationship with the United States people, government, and defense force.
According to the U.S. Department of State, the Defense Cooperation Agreement also enables the United States to be more responsive in emergencies, such as those involving humanitarian assistance and disaster relief.
The Defense Cooperation Agreement, drafted by the Papua New Guinea and the United States as equal and sovereign partners, will enhance the PNG's defense forces' capabilities to deliver humanitarian assistance and disaster relief, including through providing medical care and temporary shelter to those who are affected by crises.
The agreement also enables PNG to participate in the U.S. Coast Guard's Shipwriter program, enhancing PNG's organic enforcement capabilities and improving overall maritime domain awareness. Salome Vincent, TV1 News.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited the Lost Road Clinic in Port Moresby to learn how this U.S.-funded healthcare clinic is helping to combat HIV and AIDS. Through the President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, the United States has provided HIV support in Papua New Guinea for more than 17 years. At the Lost Road Clinic, the Secretary met with Dr. Poruan Temu, Chief of Party and Country Representative of FHI 360, and Priscilla Mal, Country Director of Hope Worldwide, in addition to other clinicians and health workers. Secretary Blinken heard how the clinic works with Papua New Guinean government and civil society to provide critical healthcare services to combat the increasing HIV epidemic and help those living with HIV. The New Zealand government will join forces with the National Capital District Commission to invest in the largest produce and fresh food markets in Port Moresby and Papua New Guinea, Gordon's Market. City Manager for NCDC Ravu Frank acknowledged the collaborative effort with New Zealand government, with a total cost of approximately $10 million or 30 million kina. The market also received partial funding from the New Zealand government and the NCDC. The National Capital District Commission and the New Zealand government have joined forces to invest in Gordon's Market, one of the largest produce and fresh food markets in Port Moresby and Papua New Guinea. Upon Prime Minister of New Zealand Chris Hipkins' official visit to PNG, it shows a great milestone in the bilateral relations between New Zealand and PNG. With Gordon's Market state-of-the-art design and modern facilities, it has attracted visitors and customers and has also contributed to the economic growth since its opening on the 6th of November 2019. City Manager Ravu Frank acknowledged the collaborative effort with New Zealand government. With a total cost of approximately $10 million or 30 million kina, the market also received partial funding from the New Zealand government and the NCDC. The significance of markets is essential for the economic and cultural exchange, emphasized the governor for NCD, Powers Pakop. He stated that the investment in markets supports and empowers women and reaffirms cultural traditions, contributing to their financial and economic development. Pakop added that markets are not only economic platforms, but also social spaces where people come together, interact, and build lasting relationships. In a city like Port Moresby with over 1,000 tribes and 800 languages, markets unite the community and contribute to a vibrant and diverse city, stated Pakop. The official visit of Prime Minister Hipkins shows the commitment from both countries to sustainable agriculture, supporting local communities, and fostering mutual prosperity. Women entrepreneurs who came through the U.S.-funded Academy for Women Entrepreneurs were fortunate to meet briefly with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Monday. The AWE program gives women business owners the knowledge, networks, and access they need to launch and scale successful businesses. Secretary Blinken met with Priscilla Meakoro, owner of a local skin and hair company that manufactures milk and aloe vera oil from local ingredients. He also met with Bonnie Nawa, founder of Saroni Tailoring, whose designer collections, and Alisa Hayara, owner of a digital printing and business promotion solution, eProducts Limited. Next, Secretary Blinken met with 4 Papua New Guinea alumni of U.S.-funded education and professional exchange programs who had the opportunity to either study at universities in the United States, participate in virtual programs, or gain skills through a professional development visit. The U.S. is proud of the people-to-people ties with Pacific Island countries and committed to the education, professional, and cultural exchanges it offers. Annan Coffee Cooperative Society recently produced a brand of grounded coffee which is named Kalibobo Delight. Kalibobo Delight has been shipped to the South Korean market with another prospect in place to export to Dubai as well. Annan Coffee Cooperative Society is from the Kovon local level government in the Middle Ramu district of Madang province.
Annan Coffee Cooperative Society of Kovon LLG in Middle Ramu Madang province was established in 2014 with capital gained from 86 registered members. To date, the group has grown its membership to 1,754. Cooperative Group Chairman Jerry Amajeng said in 2002 they exported 1 container of Kalibobo Delight to South Korea and are now looking at downstreaming their product so that they can secure other countries to export to. When missionaries introduced coffee to Kovon LLG in 1968, it was used to trade for daily needs. Today, the group sees its monetary value and have advanced in growing and developing coffee products. Annan Coffee boasts of being 100% organic with no added preservatives. Emerson Bokwe, Acting Assistant Director for Commerce and Industry in the Madang Provincial Administration, said the department is assisting with marketing Kalibobo Delight as they have managed to have it packaged. Once a downstream processing plant is established, Bokwe said the provincial administration will link up other coffee cooperatives and farmers throughout the province to this facility. Mr. Bokwe said Governor Ramsey Pariwai is backing this project and they're ready to finalize submission documents for funding. Salome Vincent, TVWAN News.
The Kutubu local level government will be establishing the Kila Chamber after President John Pipi Kila. The groundbreaking over the weekend kickstarts the construction of the 15 million kina infrastructure at Pimaga Station.
The cloudy weather at Pimaga Station, Kutubu LLG, did not deter a convicted LLG President John Pipi Kila from seeing to the ground-breaking ceremony of the construction of Kila Chamber, named after him. After sending off a delegation who was supposed to witness this event back to Port Moresby, the Kutubu LLG President made another attempt by chopper to get to Pimaga Station to see this event through after much planning. Kila was welcomed by his 18 ward councillors and the people of Foe and Faso to launch the construction of Kila Chamber.
Santos, he got bloody handmark stop long Kutubu. Housing before me been using my generally, yeah. Now I'm Santos, one them American embassy, me bla karema solar, big bla solar, you gonna now powering or get the housing in Pimaga na station one time.
The groundbreaking ceremony included a presentation of vehicles to each ward councillor and 10 outboard dinghies for residents living along Lake Kutubu to access government services. The gesture was supported by Governor for Southern Islands William Povey, Nipakutubu MP Dr. Billy Joseph, and development partners.
Southern Highlands Governor support for you making 5 million kina billion come up long Pimaga station and Neblo Samba Basta Kila Samba because me been start plongen na me yet walking so and strong for me.
The Kila Chamber will be built by local contractor Roxfield Engineering and Construction Limited, with Kutubu LLG putting in the first 5 million kina counterpart funding. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
This is TVWAN News. We'll have a look at what's making headlines overseas after these short messages. Stay tuned.
There's a sense of pride when you're able to do something right, a financial decision that has just really good benefits. With BSP Life Insurance, there's that alleviation of that worry when you pass away. The benefits of the BSP Life Insurance would meet those expenses on behalf of my family. If you're young and you have kids, you owe it to your children to make sure they're not left behind when you pass on.
With you for life. He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Laga, Bunyamyumi.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
All One Talks adds some excitement to your festivities with the Flame Easter Bonanza. Win a slice of a whopping 300,000 kina by purchasing the Flame Family Bundle Pack, which includes rice, sugar, flour, and vegetable oil, all in one go. Highlight these goodies on your receipt and scribble your full name and contact details on the back, and pop it in the entry box in selected stores across PNG. 4 fortnightly draws, 100 winners, 3,000 kina each. You don't want to miss out. This promotion ends on the 31st of May. Flame, strength and energy. Terms and conditions apply.
Hardware House launches the low-cost quick build kit home, built with quality building materials from the leading manufacturer of steel products and kit homes, Atlas Steel. Going now at introductory prices: 1-bedroom kit home at 79,000 kina, 2-bedroom kit home at 99,900 kina, and 3-bedroom kit home at 125,000 kina. You can also opt for solar units to be installed in the kit home at an extra charge. For more information, email info@hardwarehouse.com.pg.
At TISA, we've been a common thread in the lives of Papua New Guineans for 50 years. Not for profit, not for charity, but for service.
Get ready for a mouth-watering dive into the wild with Mike Robinson.
Look at that! Good job.
It's the ultimate catch and cook.
I have noticed that you have not gutted it.
I tend not to gut it.
There's so much flavour.
That's stunning, to be fair.
You know, we're enacting what our ancestors did. It's in our DNA to do this.
Fishing the Wild. A brand new series coming soon on Outdoor.
Tasmania is Australia's smallest state, lying about 240 kilometres south of the mainland. Join me on my journey through this beautiful island state as I experience the produce, people and culture that makes this an unforgettable island.
Welcome back. Solomon Islands Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare had a bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, James Marape, in the margins of the one-day summit of the Forum for Indo-Pacific Islands Cooperation. Bilateral discussions covered SI, PNG security, policing, the 2023 South Pacific Games, higher education, trade, cultural exchange, people-to-people interactions, among others. Pierre Marape was assured of Solomon Islands' continued support in strengthening the SI-PNG cooperation on mutual interests and priorities. On security, Prime Minister Sogavare conveyed deep appreciation for PNG's ongoing support on security cooperation to Solomon Islands. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to be welcomed by thousands of supporters at a community event in Sydney. Mr. Modi is in Australia for meetings with PM Anthony Albanese.
Well, as you can probably see behind me already, there's lots of dancing already underway. It's barely 9 o'clock, lots of music and lots of food that's already been brought out. I've been here since 6 a.m. in Harris Park in Sydney's West, and I've already had 2 samosas. I've had so many little Indian sweets like dokla, which I've heard is the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's favourite, so there's lots of that going around as well. But here in Harris Park, while it's reignited the flame of the local community, having the Indian leader come visit for the first time in nearly 10 years, it's also reignited this age-old debate over the precinct's name. So it is called Harris Park here, but they're hoping, a number of businesses here in Harris Park are hoping that that can be renamed to Little India and it would become sort of a cultural precinct in the city's second CBD. So it's a really interesting day here, and they're hoping a little bit later Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, will make his way here to Harris Park before Sydney Olympic Park, where it's the big main concert for today, with nearly 20,000 fans expected to arrive to that area, where there'll be as well lots of dancing, music and lots of yummy Indian food as well. Spoken to a number of people on the ground already, and here's a little bit of what they had to say about how excited they are for Mr. Modi's visit.
We got a great leader like Modi ji is coming to Australia representing India, and India is always India, because India is infinity. We are in the mission where making India a trillion-dollar economy.
We are very excited to be here, to welcome the Modi, and we are just like creating a different type of foods for them, and we are very excited to meet with them.
But it's not all party vibes here, Karina. Mr. Modi's visit also has him attending bilateral talks, key integral bilateral talks with the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese tomorrow, as well as Peter Dutton, the opposition leader, and the Governor-General David Hurley. So it is a little bit serious, but there is also lots of party here on the ground as well, as you can probably see behind me. Very exciting morning for many of the local community.
Australia's Foreign Minister Penny Wong has indicated Prime Minister Anthony Albanese won't travel to China unless continued progress is made to resolve trade and consular disputes. The invite from Chinese officials was made earlier this year and follows clashes between the two countries, which have in particular severely hindered Australian exporters. China imposed trade sanctions on several items such as wine, rock lobster, coal and barley in recent years, which has cost exporters billions of dollars. Ms. Wong suggested further progress on lifting trade sanctions was necessary before a visit to China could be scheduled. Australian researchers are trialling a new flu vaccine which could end the need for annual shots. Brisbane's Mater Hospital is starting trials on a universal flu vaccine that it hopes could do away with the need for yearly jabs.
Well, Australia's first universal flu vaccine is being trialled right here in Brisbane. In fact, the researchers believe it could be a game changer, because what it might mean is that you only need to get a flu shot once every few years, not once every single year. And it's hoped that that would actually also increase uptake in the community, because there's a feeling that not enough people are getting the flu shot every single year. So the way this universal flu vaccine works, with conventional flu vaccines, what it does, they need to constantly modify that vaccine due to mutations. But with the universal flu vaccine, what it will do is target those parts of the virus which are less susceptible to those mutations. So it will be tested over the coming months. In fact, it'll be tested with the universal flu vaccine will be tested up against conventional vaccines and also a placebo. There will be around 600 people involved in that testing phase in 9 locations. 180 people will be a part of that here at the Mater Hospital. And if you look at the numbers across Australia at the moment, so there's been already 40,000 lab-confirmed cases of influenza in the community. So you can imagine there's a lot more cases out there. And we've already seen 44 deaths.
And now the weather forecast for the next 24 hours. This is TVWAN News. Sports is next with Terry. Stay with us.
New Fabuloso multi-purpose cleaner with an irresistible fragrance that lasts all day long, creating a field of flowers in every corner of your home with an irresistible fragrance that lasts and lasts all day long. Fabuloso, irresistible fragrance.
At TISA, we've been a common thread in the lives of Papua New Guineans for 50 years. Not for profit, not for charity, but for service.
HP and Theodis are proud to announce, for every purchase of any HP A3 managed printers, you will receive a free, yes that's right, free Torque 3 kVA UPS. And it doesn't stop there. Theodist is giving away 3 times top-of-the-range HP X360 series laptops, which are worth 25,000 kina. And your company could be one of the lucky winners. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Shop with us today. Terms and conditions apply. Theodist, proudly serving you for over 50 years.
The bees are buzzing.
They travel by land, by water, and by air for hours or even days, facing the most extreme conditions imaginable. To these students, it's more than just a walk to school. It's a test of survival. And they do it every single day. The most dangerous ways to school. All new season, coming soon on Outdoor.
The Intercontinental Champion, Gonta! And Ray Harkinrada. Oh my goodness! He's gonna fly!
And thank you for staying with us. In sports, Gomore Primary School, Rigo Central Province was the venue for a friendly community-organized volleyball competition grand final over the weekend. 8 women's teams and 9 men's teams competed in the tournament that began in March and ended on Saturday, 20th of May.
The purpose of this community sport is to get back the love of the game of volleyball and to see the change in the behavior of the village youth. There were 2 divisions, male and female, with the women having 8 teams while the men had 9 teams. In the men's division, the Expendables and Delight Power battled to get the winning trophy, while in the women's division it was Neighbors and the White Rose teams who contested. President Lista Gabi said it was great to see members of different churches in the village socialize and forming mixed teams for the friendly competition. It also supported the local SMEs in the community. The men's winners trophy was presented by ward member Buri Magari to the captain of Expendables, while the women's winners went to Neighbors, with Captain Guinea Awa receiving the award trophy from Reverend Minor of the Gomorrah United Church. The spectators were also rewarded with sweets thrown away by the finalists as they ran onto the court. All the trophies and organization were funded locally by individuals and teams from the village. The organizers said in future they will seek sponsors to fund for a bigger and better tournament. Through this tournament, the club aims to identify potential players to represent the village to play in the outside volleyball competitions. Frida Kana, TVWAN Sports.
2 centenarian Australian Wallaby rugby players, Will Genia and Matt Gito, arrive in Port Moresby this Wednesday for a 2-day visit. CRU President Corey Chan said a visit by Genia, who represented the Wallabies on 110 occasions, and Gito, 103 caps, will conduct coaching clinics for selected men and women players as well as coaches and officials. Chan said the coaching clinic will take place at 6 p.m. at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium, Konidobu. He said on Thursday both Genia and Gito will visit staff of sponsors, Pacific Industries and Moni Plus, with a public engagement with shoppers at Central Waigani Stop and Shop supermarket between 1 and 2 p.m. Chen said this 3 weeks ago, we had Paddy Ryan and Aidan Toa ran similar clinics. What the players and coaches got out of this has been evident in their games over the past 2 rounds. The Mount Hagen Eagles inflicted a big upset over PRK Mandy Muruks 18-17 in their Pool A match played at Lay Rugby League Oval on Sunday in round 6 of the Diesel ExxonMobil Cup. Favourites Muruks were leading by 1 point, 17-16, until Eagles were awarded a penalty right in front of Muruks' goal mouth only seconds before full time to register their first win of the season.
At the back of 5 consecutive losses this season, no one tipped the lackluster Western Highlanders to spoil the party for the favourites and one of the formed teams in this year's competition, Mandy Muruks. As expected, Eagles came out with a plan to rattle the Mandy boys using their power play and aggression, which was evident from the opening sets. The game was riddled with multiple handling errors and rough house tactics, which did not go down well with the match referee. 2 Eagles players were marched to the bean for bringing the game into disrepute. Muruks in the meantime kept their cool, just going through their process until former Guria Terry Wapi scooped up a loose ball to put his team in front 4-0. From another attacking raid, here's David was next to score for a 10-point lead. Muruks' dominance continued with Mike Sposu scoring on the corner for a 14-0 lead. Eagles, after taking all the pressure, were able to regroup and find joy in Vincent Neri scoring from a Wapi fumble to trail 6-14 until halftime. In the second half, Eagles, led by their inspirational player coach Joe Joshua, showed some class with the ball in hand, with Joshua scoring next to start the Eagles' comeback at 12-14. Winger Eliza Peter got his name on the score sheet with a corner try to put the Eagles in front for the first time in the contest, 16-14. From a penalty kick by Clint Lama, Muruks got back on equal terms 16-all, but as the time was ticking away, David Joseph potted a field goal to hit the lead again, 17-16. A last-gasp effort by Eagles paid off when Muruks were penalized for a high tackle, with Eagles making sure of the kick to shock Muruks right at the stroke of full time, 18-17, and giving Eagles their first win of the season.
Current defending premiers Croton Hella Wigman registered its second win in the 2023 Digital Action Mobile Cup race on Sunday after overcoming a frantic Guest Resources Central Debari side 24-20 at the Santos National Football Stadium. Apparently, the highly anticipated showdown was marred with a lot of errors and discrepancies, very much to the dismay of the fans.
Billed as the main event of Pool B, there was a nice buzz building in the stands as Wigman Debari's class got off to a flyer. From the opening exchanges, Wigman looked the better side with the ball, flexing their muscles early, with Captain Courageous Solomon Pukari directing traffic around the park. From a good surge down into Debari's half, Pukari decided to roll the ball into Debari's in goal for his young little forward, Murray Connor, chasing through to pounce on the opportunity, taking Wigman to a 6-0 lead. Wigman, with their tails up, again made the Debari's pay, using their numbers on the left edge for rising speedster Cyril Saber to cross the white strip for a 12-0 scoreline. Halfway through the first half, the Debari's deep inside Wigman's half showed good patience and a bit of resilience in their attack, which paid off when 5'8" Matthew Wawe used his footwork and strength to get to the line for the Debari's first try to trail 6-12. The Central boys got themselves back on the front foot to trouble the scoreboard, courtesy of Prop Bernard Goma busting the Wigman's defensive line on halfway to set up young fullback Moses Demena to streak away untouched to put the Debari's back on equal terms with Wigman at 12 apiece. From a successful penalty kick by Pukari, Wigman found themselves back in front 14-12 until half-time. As the intensity of the match continued into the second half, the tempo and quality of the game capitulated due to ill discipline, with a number of players on both sides sent to the bin for dissent and dangerous play. Players allowed their frustrations to get the better of them due to a number of controversial referees' calls, coupled with many unforced ball handling errors as fatigue crept into the game. A loose carry by Wigman inside their red zone in the 53rd minute presented Debari's another opportunity, shifting the ball to the right edge to create an overlap for Lega Batia to score 16-14. Pukari kicked another penalty to lock the score at 6-0 on the 58th minute. With two Debari's players sent to the bin for professional foul, Wigman simply used the numbers to score two quick tries in back-to-back fashion, through Saber picking up his second, and man of the match, Wigman's fullback Kauper Sipa, to seal the deal 24-16 at full time.
The inaugural OFC Women's Champions League 2023 kicks off in Port Moresby on June 1st. In the build-up to the tournament, 5 competing teams are being profiled, including Hekari United FC, who have been preparing for 4 fixtures.
Rich in footballing history, its women's side qualified for the OFC Women's Champions League by winning the 2021-2022 Women's National Soccer League in the country. The team is currently preparing for 4 fixtures come June 1st. Coach Eric Komeng, who has just come off a disappointing finish to the Hekari Men's OFC campaign, says with PNG hosting the OFC Women's Champions League, it is good competition for the young women taking part. 5 teams will compete for the inaugural OFC Women's Champions League title in Port Moresby from the 1st to the 10th of June 2023. The withdrawal of New Zealand representative Eastern Suburbs AFC has seen the format change from 2 pools of 3 teams to a round robin. The 5 competing teams are Hekari United FC, Labasa Women FC, Kiwi FC, Koloale FC and AS Academy Feminine. All matches will be played at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium in Port Moresby. The inaugural OFC Women's Champions League takes place in what is a massive year for women's football in the Oceania region, with the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 being held in New Zealand and Australia in July and August. It is the first time that PNG is hosting a women's OFC competition. Salome Vincent, TV1 Sports.
And that's sports for now. Jess.
Thanks, Terry. And that ends another edition of TV1 News. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
Bye.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.